Death is truly inevitable. It follows as surely as night follows day, but it's not the destination, it's the journey. So buy that takeaway and lease that car. Just enjoy yourself, because you never know when it's going to end. But with that poignant reminder, hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. I'm Ryan from Tragedy Tales, and in this week's video, we have the 10th installment of the Bizarre Death series, ranging from the man who risked it all to gain some followers, to a man who got hopelessly stuck in an indoor cave experience. This week, we've got the lot. So without any messing about, here are even more bizarre deaths. The air was crisp and chilly in the district of Konak, Izmir, in Turkey, on the morning of November the 9th, 2015. An unnamed maintenance man, a 32-year-old tasked with painting the walls of a multi-storey car park, had no reason whatsoever to suspect that that day would be any different from any other. This multi-storey car park is located in the centre of Izmir and situated right above a supermarket. Now this supermarket is huge, with a constant stream of people coming in and out. As the painter worked, painting a staircase located near the exit of the supermarket, the stench of death reached his nostrils, a putrid odour that he just could not ignore. Despite his revulsion, the maintenance man felt compelled to investigate. He followed the source of the smell to a door, one that looked like it had been shut sealed for years. Now this door was directly opposite the one exit of the supermarket, meaning thousands would have walked past and smelt this exact same smell. He forced the door open and was hit by an overwhelming stench of decay. Beyond the locked door was a dark corridor that led to an elevator, and it was from here that the smell emanated. The maintenance man could not help but resist to explore further. He willed himself to move closer to the stench, growing more and more intense with each and every step. He wrenched open the elevator doors and found himself standing before a mummified corpse of a man, lying curled up on the elevator floor. His blood ran cold as he realized that the man had been dead for years. The police were called and they could not identify the corpse. The man had no identification on him, and bizarrely, his left foot was entirely missing. To add to the mystery, he was wearing a gold ring with writing on it, and his pockets contained old banknotes that had been officially discontinued in 2001. Customers said that there was always a funny smell in the building, but they put it down to poor sewage, so it went undiscovered. Managers gave statements claiming that the elevator was decommissioned in 2005, with a padlock on the door the whole time. Now this caused the authorities to be completely stumped by the case. If the elevator had been decommissioned in 2005, why on earth was he carrying discontinued banknotes? There's also a couple of things that just don't add up whatsoever. The man's left foot was entirely missing, bones and all. And another interesting fact is the fact that the man was carrying no ID whatsoever, which was actually law at the time. You had to be carrying your ID at all times. Some people believe that the man may have had dementia and crawled into the elevator shaft and into the elevator, becoming trapped. Others suggested that it might have been a homeless man seeking refuge in the unused space. But it begs the question, how did he get beyond the locked door? Some people believe that he may have entered somewhere between the years of 1998 and 2001, and that the company did not even check inside whatsoever before decommissioning it. However, the truth remains shrouded in mystery, and the man's identity has never been identified. To this very day, the bizarre and eerie story of the mummified corpse in the car park remains a topic of fascination. But as always, I'm interested in your thoughts below. This peculiar tale begins in Knoxville, Tennessee, on the 28th of October, 2019. Pamela Kramer, a 66-year-old woman known for her loving and humorous nature, along with 4 family members, including her expecting daughter-in-law, gathered outside their abode to celebrate the gender reveal of their upcoming baby. The family aimed to make the gender reveal event an unforgettable experience. To accomplish this, they experimented with chemicals to create a firework that would explode in a specific color, indicating the baby's gender. The day prior to the event, they fashioned a device out of a metal tube and a metal base plate. They then drilled a hole into the side of the tube and threaded a fuse through it. The tube was then filled with gunpowder and a colored powder covered with a board and sealed with duct tape. They thought they'd made the perfect device. Regrettably, they had unwittingly constructed a pipe bomb. On that fateful day, around 4 p.m, Pamela and 5 of her family members were standing around 45 feet away from the device. Her sons lit the contraption, anticipating a splendid firework display. Unfortunately, the device and its welded stand exploded, sending high-velocity metal shards ricocheting through the air. Tragically, Pamela was standing in the wrong place at the wrong time, and one of the shards struck her head, passing through her brain and continuing to travel for another 144 yards before finally landing in a nearby field. Despite their efforts, her family was unable to save her. Pamela was declared dead on the scene shortly after the ambulance arrived. Pamela's family plans for a joyous event resulted in a catastrophic tragedy. This tragedy is a grim reminder that mixing chemicals and experimenting with explosives may have grave consequences. This bizarre and claustrophobic story begins on Saturday, on the 22nd of April, 2023, in the Kong Adventure Centre, located in Cumbria. That bright spring day, a 49-year-old man from Lancaster attended the Kong Adventure Centre for his niece's birthday party. This adventure centre featured indoor caving, a kids' play area, and even outdoor and indoor rock climbing. Now, Carl was described as a devoted parent. He was caring and kind. He had a brilliant mind that was obsessed with astrology. But that fateful morning, it all came to a tragic end. As Carl and his niece enjoyed the birthday party, they decided they'd give the indoor cave experience a go. Something that Carl had done many times before. He was a regular. If you're not familiar with the indoor cave experiences, don't worry, I wasn't either before this story. I didn't even know they existed. But they're essentially an artificial way of caving, whereby a company creates a plastic cave-like system. You'd pay some money, and you'd navigate it as if you were potholing, but without all the wet and the insects and all the things that come with going inside a real cave. It's sort of a safe way of caving. On the Kong website, which they've now removed, it described the cave experience as a 230-foot potholing extravaganza. You'd start at one end, and you'd squirm your way through some twists and turns, ups and downs, until you got to the other side. They described it in their own words as an exciting activity for all the family, with lots of fun to be had, meaning that it was advertised as suitable for adults and children alike. The only rule that would exclude you from entering would be that if you was over 6 foot tall. Thinking that this would be so fun, Carl, his niece, and 3 other kids from the party donned a helmet and a head torch and were ushered into the entrance. It was tight at first, but manageable. Just 15 minutes later, Carl was now deep within the artificial cave system, and it was now tight as hell. With no way to turn back, Carl continued forward with his niece and the other children in front. Now, it's not exactly clear by reading any of the articles as to what exactly happened, and I assume more details will come out going forward, but it's described as Carl wormed his way through the cave system, he suddenly slipped, causing him to slide into a tight tunnel headfirst at an incline, landing at the bottom at a very awkward angle. With his entire body weight pushing down on him, Carl now found himself stuck at the bottom of a tight incline. The way he had landed, he'd sort of jammed himself in between the two plastic walls. It was now incredibly tight, with no room to breathe at all. Panic soon broke out. Carl's niece rushed out of the cave as shouts for help began echoing from the cave entrance. The staff that were working that day rushed to his aid and desperately tried to free him, as they would do for anyone who was stuck in that position. But it was quickly clear that they needed help. He was impossibly stuck. At approximately 3 p.m, Kong Adventure phoned emergency services requesting immediate aid. With each and every second that ticked, Carl struggled for breath in the confined space. Concerned for time, while ambulances made their way there, the climbing wall staff, assisted by various members of the public, got to work dismantling sections of the climbing wall to access tunnels. They took as much as they possibly could off, but the passage in which Carl had become stuck was still not even in view. It was almost virtually impossible to access. Around 50 people from 6 crews soon arrived to help Carl. This included members from the Cumbria Fire, Rescue Police, Mountain Rescue, the Ore Mines Rescue Unit, the Air Ambulance, and the Hazard Response Team. But when they arrived at the scene, they'd never seen anything quite like it. After more than 4 agonizing hours of being trapped inside the plastic cave system, firefighters eventually had to use a saw to cut the plastic from him, and much to Carl's relief, he was freed. But at this point, he'd been stuck at a static angle under extreme pressure for hours. He was in a terrible state. He was rushed to the hospital with severe crush injuries, but tragically, 8 days later, it was clear that he would not survive his injuries. He soon lost consciousness and fell into a coma, passing away soon after, leaving his family utterly heartbroken. His cause of death was multiple organ failure, caused by the injuries of being crushed. When questioned by the public, nobody from Kong officially commented on the incident, and I assume they are awaiting their day in court. While this is a fresh case and it's still being investigated, sadly there are several occasions where the venue was warned about poor safety, directly in relation to the indoor cave system and the indoor climbing wall. In 2017, a man almost got stuck with his daughter in the caving experience, leading to a 1-star TripAdvisor review. And another review detailed the cave experience as tiny and dangerous for any adults to enter. So danger was something that they were made aware of, but did nothing. It makes me wonder if any risk assessments were done at all. Surely if they built and designed this indoor cave, they would have designed it with removable panels for all tunnels just in case of emergencies. Or is that just wishful thinking? While the Kong Adventure Center remains open for other activities, the cave experience is now closed to the public and cordoned off, an eerie reminder of what horrible tragedy occurred within. This stomach-churning tale unfolds in the city of Hefei, situated in eastern China, serving as the capital and the largest city of Anhui province. Within this urban landscape resided a 35-year-old man named Sun. Now Sun had a huge passion for live streaming in general, utilizing China's most renowned platform, Douyu. In China, live streaming has grown into a massive trend, surpassing its Western counterparts tenfold. Sun, however, possessed an idiosyncratic niche. Each night, Sun embarked on a live stream bonanza, captivating an audience of approximately 15,000 people. In a bid to attract even more viewers, he devised an attention-grabbing method. Positioned right behind him was a sizable wheel. Its spin would determine Sun's next crazy endeavor. These exploits ranged from consuming copious amounts of alcohol to ingesting mealworms, centipedes, live geckos, vinegar, multiple eggs, and even beer and baijiu, a transparent distilled, very strong liquor. On the ill-fated morning of July the 18th, 2019, while intoxicated, Sun commenced his live stream, spinning the wheel as was customary. Now, I have scoured the internet from high to low, and I can find no remnants of this particular live stream. It appears it's been expunged. According to accounts, the wheel landed on centipedes, right after Sun had previously consumed a live gecko. Sun, a man of his word, reached into a recently acquired batch of centipedes and unceremoniously forced them into his mouth, swallowing them whole without a single chew. Now, it's worth noting they were alive, they weren't dead centipedes. Viewers watched in horror as Sun writhed in agony. The centipedes, with their venomous bites, tormented his throat mercilessly as they descended. These bites and stings caused Sun's throat to swell, eventually leading to his collapse during the live stream. Oddly enough, despite the distressing spectacle, all on live, none of the viewers reported him missing. It was not until 2 days later, on July the 20th, that Sun's girlfriend discovered his lifeless body. The live stream was still active, and the insects remaining on his desk. Now, Sun's tragic fate, succumbing to a throat filled with centipedes, stands as a haunting testament to the perils that can lurk within the realm of online sensationalism. In the captivating city of Alwar, nestled in the northern Indian state of Rajasthan, a truly extraordinary tale unfolded. On the hot evening of April the 18th, 2023, an 82-year-old man named Shivdayal Sharma embarked on his usual evening routine. As the aroma of freshly made dinner drifted carefully through the air, Shivdayal and his friend seized the moment and decided that it was the perfect time to urinate on the nearby train tracks, a strange, peculiar habit that they had developed over time, and that many people did in the local area. Now, Shivdayal used to work as an electrician on the railways and was actually retired, so one would assume that he would know better. However, given that this was a daily routine for him and many others, he saw no reason to suspect any unfortunate turn of events. As they both stood there, relieving themselves, an unexpected twist of fate unfolded before their eyes. Completely out of nowhere, a cow descended from the heavens and crashed directly onto Shivdayal, midstream. Miraculously, his friend managed to swiftly evade the bovine projectile, narrowly escaping a tragic demise. Unbeknownst to the pair, a passing train had collided with the wandering cow, launching it a staggering 100 feet, or around 30 meters, into the air. But what goes up must come down. As quickly as it rocketed into the air, it landed on poor Shivdayal. Ambulances were called, and Shivdayal was rushed to the hospital, but tragically, he passed away. What had begun as an ordinary evening routine swiftly transformed into utter tragedy. But that is the end of the video. As always, I'm interested in hearing all of your thoughts below. Carl losing his life on an indoor cave experience will stick with me for a long time, and I really hope his family receive the compensation that they so rightly deserve. But as always, I will see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.